It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the City of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning and welcome to City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM. My name is Stuart Walter and my guest this morning is Deputy Mayor Colleen Smook.
Good morning.
Let's start off by talking about the Main Street North project. Council, the reason this is on here today, Council received a letter from the Provincial Health Department essentially saying that Mayor Fenske wasn't able to meet with them and they apologized for that, but that he met with the Justice Department about it and they think that should be enough. Could you explain what the Main Street North project is?
Well, from a top-level view, the Main Street North project is taken after Winnipeg's examples. And basically there, when somebody is IPDA or that and is taking to the Main Street project, it frees up the police officers or whatever. They just drop the people off. They're there, they have monitoring, they have services there for counseling and that, and it basically takes them out of the RCMP's lineup. Doesn't go into the crime statistics. As a result, then it just looks better all the way around, and the people are getting more help that they need.
Well, just even speaking about the public view of the City of Thompson from those outside of the city, having this, it sounds like, would drastically reduce the crime severity index. Just main part of that was the people essentially in the drunk tank.
Yes, it would.
One of the other resolutions that was passed by council was one that will result in the school board office, Westwood School, and Artie Parker having enhanced phone and internet service. Why is it important, and when is this going to be done?
Basically, I believe the process is already, the construction is starting to take place, and we had to just basically do a resolution so that they could work on city land around those areas, and with that it will definitely enhance the computer capabilities and outlying communities and that to do the communication.
Mayor Fenske will be in Winnipeg for the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Provincial Municipal Justice Advisory Committee meeting on September 7th, and then along with Director of Development Services Anthony McInnes, who will become the city manager shortly, they'll be in Flin Flon for the AMM Fall Cities Caucus meeting September 19th. Why is it important for the mayor or even just a representative from City Hall to be at the meetings? I know the meetings have next to no costs as opposed to a lot of meetings that are approved for attendance, but I can see how someone who doesn't closely follow municipal politics could just see the trips as money being spent when you could just call in for the meetings.
Well, Mayor Fenske is actually the chair of the Justice Committee meetings, and as such, he is able to keep his the city's finger on the pulse of what is happening, and this is where these Main Street downtown projects get talked about. We actually, our CSO program, our RCMPs, the contingent we have, is all discussions, and it's for our interest to be part of it, and for him and Anthony to attend the AMM caucus meetings. That just keeps the AMM, Association of Manitoba Municipalities, up to date on what's happening in Thompson. It lets us know what's happening around the province. Like when we say get a cut in our municipal road grant, it wasn't just Thompson that gets the cut. It was other municipalities. So then we have to figure out ways to lobby the government or work with less money.
So then you would say that it's worth it to go to these meetings even if AMM didn't foot the bill for a member of the board?
Oh, for sure.
There was a resolution added to the last meeting of council, and there wasn't really any information available beforehand. And even now, if you go to the city's website and look at the agenda, it simply says the name of the resolution, and it has to do with a one-time payment from NCN. Could you explain what the resolution was and what it's all about?
Basically, the resolution for NCN is with their urban possessions here in Thompson, and it has to do with the hotel amount that they're going to give us, based on them being, on their own land, and that they have still agreed that they would pay what is due to Thompson in a service fee for the room nights that the other hotels pay on that. So basically, we had come to a resolution to get a payment for that, and we are going to be in talks just over the whole resolutions, the brands. NCN is starting up their own governance or remodeled their governance, and we'll just be all part of that so that Thompson and them stay on the same page.
And from the reaction from many councillors at the meeting when this was being discussed, it seemed like this is a very good thing for the city.
It is a very good thing for the city.
Moving on to Public Works, could you give us the latest update when it comes to everything from water breaks to potholes?
Okay, water breaks. We've been doing some fire hydrants. We've been redoing some of them. Potholes, that's sort of still in full swing with all the wet weather we've had. I know they spent a whole day on Hayes Road there last week, and I've seen them out at different spots. So if you still have any potholes in your neighborhood, not everybody or not every crew sees them, so please phone 677-7970 to report your potholes so they can get at them. Other projects, that I'm sure anybody that's been down Station Road has noticed that. It's a little inconvenience for a long-term gain, so please, the work on Brandon Crescent is just winding down there. The work on Fox Bay, all our water lines and everything are just winding up. Street sweeping is still happening in town, so, and if you have any something wrong with your yard that you think, oh, I've talked to the city 6 months or a year ago, please phone and refresh their memory. Sometimes things get on lists get moved, priorities get changed. So rather than just sort of grumbling about us, please grumble to us so that we can fix your problem.
Just even going back to Station Road there for a minute, I'm sure everyone will remember the work on Selkirk last year, and I think most of us would agree that it's much better now than it was a year ago, and it was much worth the construction.
Exactly, yes.
The Canadian Mental Health Association here in town usually runs a graffiti cover-up program throughout the summer months, but they weren't able to this year, and it's easy to see what the lack of that program looks like now in the city. Is there any plan for the city to do something with all the graffiti?
At this time, there's nothing from the city. Basically, my understanding is our inspection people go out and notify the businesses that they have a certain length of time themselves to cover it up. The graffiti program was a very good program, but even last year they were having trouble hiring and retaining people and the funding. So I think that's something that will really have to go into this year's budget and see what we can do to change the process.
Now, there are elections this year. It's municipal election season, but it's also today, or yesterday and today, is the NCN election as well.
Yes, and that's very important. Please, anybody from NCN, get out and vote. In Thompson, your places to vote are the post office and Mystery Lake Hotel. So anybody from that community, please go and vote for your chief and council. Very important.
And there's quite a selection. I believe there's something like 26 people who have their names on the ballot for the 6 councillor positions and 3 with their names put forward to be chief. And as a reminder, those polls are open until 8 p.m. tonight. There is also, talking about the City of Thompson municipal election, there's a pre-election information event for those who are thinking about running.
Yes, we got pre-election orientation. This is basically going to be August 30th at 7 p.m. at the Letkeman Theatre, and that's for all mayoral, council, and school board candidates. The topics that will be covered, I'm just going to read. The registration, nominations, withdrawal deadlines, eligibility criteria and restrictions, campaign financing, roles and responsibilities of elected officials, conflicts of information, conflicts of interest. And then for more information, get a hold of Dave Turpey. He's our senior election official, and it's at 204-679-1000 or SEO@thompson.ca. Now, this is something that anybody that's thinking of running for council or school board really needs to get on board. It really gives you the whole gamut of what you're in for when you do get election. And just on that topic, it's very important for the school board and for city council to get a selection of members so that the public has somebody to vote for.
And then finally, the ice is in at the TRCC in the CA Nesbitt Arena. North Stars tryouts start today.
Yes, it's exciting times. Winter's here. Can we not feel it in the air? The wading pools, we were swimming in plus 30 last week, and this week we're
A bit chillier.
barely above freezing, and I see there's still people around them. And just further to the wading pools, our pool has announced its scheduled shutdown from September 2nd to 24th. There'll be Norplex pool shutdown. They're doing work on the water slide, and they're doing works on the change rooms, and that's the reason for the long shutdown this time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
If you have any questions you'd like answered next week, email them in advance to CHTMnews@arcticradio.ca. For City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM, I'm Stuart Walter.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11.